going to be a very brief introduction into how to use the BER Data Playground. So let's start with a very specific example. We can get to a less specific and more exploratory example in a moment. But let's say that the new quarterly bulletin has just been released and you want to use the playground to view GDP that was published in the new quarterly bulletin. So if you're already familiar with the question that you're attempting to answer, you'll probably know that you're looking for South African Reserve Bank, quarterly bulletin, and the national account section. So you can use these menus on the left to select that specific section of the publication that you're looking for. Scroll up to the top and click Get Data. Once the data has been fetched, you can use either the drop-down menus or the search functionality over here to find the data that you're looking for. Let's use the drop-down menus. If I open category and I scroll, it doesn't take me very long to find GDP at market prices. This has narrowed the data to 9 rows, and we probably want constant 2015 prices, seasonally adjusted, so real GDP. Click on the data series and click on Add Series. If it disappears, that means it worked and it added it to your selected time series panel. From here, you can either immediately download the data or you can explore the data on the playground. Let's give the plot the title GDP, and let's change the y-axis title to Rand Millions, and let's add a range filter to the bottom. And here we go, we've already plotted it and we've managed to get our data very quickly and very easily. You can also look at the exact data points. So if you navigate to this data tab over here and get to the last page, you can see what the latest Q2 GDP is. But back on the plot, let's do some editing over there. If you'd like, you can put it as a bar chart. Let's stick with the line chart for now. You can also make it year-on-year figures, and I like to add fill line to my year-on-year graph so I can more easily see where information was positive or where information was negative. You can also limit the data series so that you've only got a subset of the data that you're looking at. And you can go ahead and download that plot if you'd so like. But let's turn towards a less specific example. Let's say you were walking through the grocery store and you were wondering, when did potatoes get so expensive? And you know that the data exists out there, but you're not sure where to find it. So in this scenario, I would recommend going to the data guide. And it's worth having an exploration of the data guide because internally we find that just looking at the data that we've got available raises even more economic questions for us to be able to answer. So have a read through at some point, but if you know you're looking for potatoes, let's just search for potatoes in that menu. And it seems to tell us that there's some information published by Stats SA under the price indices banner. The price indices banner has producer price inflation, there we go, and consumer price index data. And instead of scrolling until we find potatoes, we can just Control and F and navigate to where we see the potato data is. And it seems that it is under, let's scroll back up. Yes, it seems it's under CPI. So back on the data playground, we can navigate to the menus on the left. Let's unselect the quarterly bulletin data. Let's select price indices. Do we want all of it? Yeah, let's go with all of it. And scroll back up to the top, click Get Data. Wait a few seconds for it to appear. When there's a little bit more data that it's fetching, it takes a little bit longer for it to come up, but not very long. And now it seems we've got all of the price index data. Let's use a search bar this time to find potatoes. And here it seems we've narrowed it down to 22 rows. I think we'll just go with this potato data and the sweet potato data. And remember to add series, scroll back down to the bottom. You can also unselect that GDP data that we were using earlier, and then you can proceed to plotting. Let's just give it a title, potatoes, and proceed to plot the data. And here's our potato data. Let's also fill line here. And then we can see very easily that potatoes started becoming expensive towards the end of last year, really peaked in the first quarter, or in the first month. This is monthly data, there we go. came down a little bit, but are on the rise again. And that answers our question about when did potatoes become so expensive. I think this should be enough to get you started. We really hope that you enjoy playing with the playground as much as we have. Have a good day.